Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another video. In fact, the last video of this year. So I'm going to take you down the rabbit hole today of how I turned, basically how I designed these guys, and then went further down the rabbit hole to design this guy. But before that, a word from this video's sponsor. Got an idea for a circuit, widget, or device that you want to rapid prototype or sell? Check out JLC PCB. They offer their board manufacturing services starting at $2 for 5 boards and only take a few days from start to finish. So make sure to check out JLC PCB, and once again, thanks for making this video possible. Now let's get on with the video. Okay, so the story begins with me seeing an advertisement for Lixie Labs. They're releasing these like really cute, tiny 5x7 alphanumeric, like 2-digit serially controlled WS2812 RGB little modules. And I thought that is really cool. And I've been meaning to make like a matrix, a WS2812 based matrix. And I had about 100 of these on hand. So I said, why not? I went through the process. I designed this little board. These are actually 4 boards, and they soldered together with little tiny links. And yeah, they're self-contained. They use these 50/50 size, full size WS2812 LEDs. And I went a little overkill. I added a capacitor per LED, which actually I found is really not even necessary. But this was the first prototype. I wanted to make sure that it worked. And these are all just controlled. They just need 5 volts ground and then a serial wire. And I'm using the Adafruit library to drive them currently. I probably will end up just writing my own like low latency driver. But anyway, I have a quick demo up here running, and these are full RGB, 8 bits per channel. And you can see here, they're quite bright. I have it scrolling through my entire character font, and the color fades across the digits. You may notice some LEDs, I think this one and this one are a little bit, the colors are a little bit off, or this one probably, are a little bit off, and that's because I accidentally cooked this last board a little bit too much. I had the hot plate temp a little bit too high, and I heard a popcorn popping sound, and that was actually the LED slightly delaminating, and it killed some of those channels. Like this only glows kind of blue. But anyway, and it's quite faint compared to the other channels. But anyway, this was good enough for a first prototype. It looks really cool, but I wanted something smaller. And this was just sort of an appetizer. So I designed this little guy. And this guy is an 8x8 matrix. It uses LEDs that are a similar, basically they're compatible with the WS2812 in terms of the interface specification. But these are the SK6805, and they are a minuscule, I believe they're like, what was it, 1.5 millimeters by 1.5 millimeters. They're basically a tiny little square, and you can just see comparatively the size of one of these. You could probably fit about 9 of them in the 50/50 size LEDs. And so in the same size as about 9 of these, you can see right here, almost exactly actually, that was a coincidence. So in about the size of 9 of these LEDs, I can fit a full 8x8 matrix. And I designed this very similarly with solder pads so that I can actually link them in a matrix. And if they're going across a row, all the datas are connected. They're chained as well. When you get to the last one, you will have to solder a link wire to the first one on the row below it because I couldn't quite fit another contact on the top and the bottom there. This is only a double-sided PCB, and I had to absolutely cram. I had to pretty much make all the vias as small as JLC PCB could possibly do, and everything is pretty tightly packed to get the spacing between the LEDs as small as I could get them. And so, yeah, let me take you through the process of me soldering these. That was definitely an ordeal. Okay, after I think I ordered these about a month ago, about like early December sometime, and it's just at the end of September now. It's the 28th today. Happy holidays, by the way, everyone. Anyway, they finally arrived. These are SK 6805-EC15s. But I ordered 1,000 of them, and it came to about a little over $60. I think 65 was shipping, something like that. So I ordered a crap ton of these. These boards from JLC PCB arrived actually pretty quickly. They arrived like midway through December. I just couldn't do anything with them without the LEDs. And I did order the stencil mask for these because there's no way I'm manually applying solder paste by hand to these tiny little pads. This was actually really nerve-wracking because these parts are absolutely microscopic, and I didn't leave enough room around the sides because they have to butt up with other matrices, so there's really no tolerance for extra room on the side. So as soon as you go to grab the board, you'll bump some LEDs and have to realign them. So that was a pain in the butt. But I finally got it done. Used a combination of the hot plate and hot air to make sure all the LEDs were down more or less flat. Some of them aren't quite. Some of them stick up a little bit, but whatever. There were some solder balls. I maybe applied a little bit too much solder paste there. Let's just focus in on that. There we go. So there are a little bit of solder balls floating around. I've removed most of them. These ones are actually like stuck to the pad, so I would have to heat it up to pull them out. But they're not electrically touching anything, so whatever. It's good enough to test just leaving them in there. And so I just wrote a rainbow test just to scroll through and show you guys this matrix working. And they're super bright. This is probably brighter than you really even need them. If you're just displaying text or simple graphics, you can see in respect to the size of my pointer finger here, just how tiny this is. Yeah, so this will make making like larger RGB matrices significantly easier. I plan on making probably like a 64 by 32 high matrix to start off with, and making like a neat looking RGB clock. And they get a little warm. But then again, like I said, these are being driven like way brighter than they actually need to be visible. Yeah, but you can see just how tiny that is. Yeah, I'm gonna have the board files for this up. I'm not gonna sell this or anything. This is way too finicky for me manually assembling by hand. I'll see if JLC PCB, I think they have these SK6805 in stock, hopefully. So if they do, the next version, I'm not going to solder the rest of these by hand. I'll probably have them do it. I'll give out their pick and place a try, and hopefully they'll be able to assemble this. I know that they have minimum board sizes though, so that might be an issue. I might have to actually make like a 2x2 one of this, so make it larger, and get them to assemble that, because this was a doozy trying to assemble manually by hand. Oh my goodness. Thought I was going to go insane. But yeah, the end effect works out really, really well. Now I just need to port software over to write text and simple graphics over. So let's see how that goes. Okay, here we are. A little bit of programming later, I ported my graphics like font library over, and just have a quick demo. I have it oriented vertically. I can easily switch that in software, but it was just quicker to get it working this way. So you can see it's stepping through all the letters, and it's changing colors each time. And it does look like the mixing isn't so great on the individual LED die, so I might put a diffusive layer on top, which should definitely help. So yeah, I'll make it quite a bit more visible. But yeah, you can see it works, and it's very cute. So yeah, very happy with how this turned out. Oops. Looks like we got a loose connection. Probably one of these headers that I just stuck into there. These LEDs are absolutely tiny. I probably could have gotten the pitch a bit tighter if I weren't hand assembling this. If I were just pick and placing it, and if I increased the layer count, to maybe 4 layers on the boards, just so I can get tighter tolerances on all the parts, so they're not quite as far apart. But this is already minuscule. It's about, you know, the size, the diameter of maybe a quarter, a little less than that actually, for an 8x8 array, which is actually really tight pitch. And yeah, it looks fantastic. So I must be a masochist or something, because I soldered up another 4 displays, and I soldered 5 of them together, and I have this one as separate because I only have 10 PCBs in this run. So what I'm going to do is have them stacked double high and 5 across. So that'll give me a resolution of, what, 16 by 40, 16 by 40-ish. So yeah. Anyway, I soldered these all up. I linked them all together. And I just have a quick rainbow demo. Turn this guy on, and holy heck, let me turn off the light. Yeah, it just swamps out the sensor. It's basically just scrolling an RGB color stripe. Yeah, all pixels work. I didn't have to rework anything. These last 4 just worked perfectly. I actually did take the time to document. The first 2 I did off camera. The last 4, as you saw, I assembled on camera. It was just a bit easier for me to do. But yeah, there you go. And that said, I will probably end up order more of these boards so I can make a larger display. I have 1,000 of these LEDs that I purchased, and I'm only using probably about like a quarter of them by now, so I can make a much larger display. Okay, and here we go. I have the full matrix up and running, and yeah, what can I say? This took a number of hours for me to solder all these. Even though I wasn't soldering manually each LED, just reflowing them, picking and placing by hand is a pain. So yeah, next time I'm gonna ask JLC PCB, once, you know, as soon as I confirm they have stock of these LEDs, I'm going to design the pick and place file and whatnot, and send them off to have them automatically you know, manufactured by JLC PCB, because I want to make a ton more of these and make larger matrices. But just soldering each one of these takes me, you know, from start to finish takes me about an hour to do one of these, and so that's like 6 hours in total with this guy down the drain on that. So yeah, I'm gonna have these manufactured for me next time. But anyway, it's the end of the year. We survived 2021, and as obligatory in most of my year-end videos, I have a little holiday message for you guys, so enjoy. Okay, I just tried filming that, and it was way overblown, so these LEDs are too bright. I have to tone that down in software, but without having to reprogram it, I'm just going to use this mirrored perspex just on top to get this in focus. So yeah, once again, and I'll see you guys next year.